never put my napkin in my lap, but today, why not?
You're listening to the Oven Podcast. Your table is ready. You can follow me.
All right, welcome to our very first episode of The Oven. We're your hosts, Franco and Nino. Let me tell you, this has been a long time coming. We're so happy to finally have everyone come join us for dinner. Today we're at our home base, Jackson's in Comac, New York. They were nice enough to open up their doors, cool enough to open up their doors, and help us prepare a wild infused THC dinner for us. Whether you're looking to enjoy an amazing brunch or to get after, in my opinion, the best damn wings in New York.
Thank you.
I can't lie to you, man.
I love them.
During a football game, Jackson's has everything you're in the business for, plus more. Did I mention they do brunch every day until 3 p.m.? So, in my opinion, what a better way to ring in the new year for us than to be here with the owner and chef of none other than the very spot we sit at, Smithtown native. Some call him Hollywood Harry. Others call him Hash Brown Harry. We know him as our friend, Chef Harry Poole.
How you doing? Nice to meet you.
Welcome.
So, man, I got to tell you, who came up with the Hash Brown Harry?
My wife.
Yeah. I kind of had a feeling it was Shelby.
Yeah, we got baked one night and we wanted to do like a little pop-up restaurant. That's what we wound up doing. So,
Hash Brown Harry?
Yeah.
God, Shelby's just full of them, huh?
Always.
How'd you get into cooking?
I grew up in the business. My family had a restaurant when I was growing up, Popeye's Clam Bar. So my cousin was partners. I started when I was a young kid. I figured me and my cousin were going to make a run at it. Went to culinary school, graduated culinary school, and he's like, I don't want to do it anymore. So I was kind of like left, and then I hooked up with my wife's father 21 years ago, and we've had 2 restaurants since then, and it's like my life now.
Nice.
It's great, love it.
That's Popeyes? Is that in Hicksville?
The one I started was in Bethpage, is where I started. And then my
Bethpage,
cousin, the first one he opened up was in Coram, and then Deer Park.
That's still a thing, huh?
Yeah, still a thing. They cranked numbers over there.
I was there, God, years ago, man.
Been there a handful of times.
Yeah,
I think I was there with you and your family.
I think
actually.
so.
They have like the all-you-can-eat seafood specials like every night of the week. Something different, like crab legs. It's a great place.
Mm-hmm.
Great place.
Is that next to
That's next to One Eye Jack's.
Yeah,
I don't think it's called One Eye Jack's anymore.
Okay.
And Bethpage.
Wow, that's your dad. That's your family, huh?
It was my cousin that was partners in there. Yeah.
That's awesome, man. And well, you said you grew up in Wantaw, right?
Yeah.
So that kind of makes sense that you guys had spots right over in that area.
All right, for all you Food Network fans out there, like myself, Harry was casted on season 13 of the Great Food Truck Race held in Alaska. That's pretty awesome. He was accompanied by an LI team, Kate Wurtzel from Smithtown, and representing Islip, April Nothdurft. Together, they made up Team Breakfast for Dinner, or BFD. Love the name. Love the truck that they gave you on the show. So take us through how you ended up not only in Alaska, but on the Food Network.
So it was like 3 days before we had our COVID lockdown. I got a phone call and said I actually got on the show. And I was leaving the 25th of March. And then 3 days later, we went into lockdown. And they canceled the show.
3 days later.
3 days later. I mean, I was stoked because I think there was like 300 teams that like tried out. And we were one of the 7 teams that were picked. So it was great.
What were the tryouts like?
It was just all video conferencing. Like, we had to sell our thing to the network and what we were going to do. And the whole thing, they wanted to see what our whole team, how we all worked together and talked. And we got it. And then I thought I lost it because it was reality TV and it was COVID.
So you were handsome enough to be on TV?
I was handsome enough to be on TV. Yeah.
Congrats.
So I guess then in September of 2020, I got a phone call and said, we want to do it. You interested in doing it? So I was like, sure. They said, I'll call you in 7 days. And 7 days came and went. 20 days later, they called and said, you're ready to go. 7 days, you're leaving for Alaska. I was like, Alaska? Like,
in a week?
In a week. I was like, what? Like,
Do you have like clothes ready for that?
I had to get a whole bunch of stuff ready. I mean, I have a bunch of ski clothes, but as I quickly realized, definitely was not warm enough for Alaska. I got off the plane. It was 5 degrees.
God bless.
And it was cold. And there were some days, the second episode in Palmer with the wind chill, we were minus 40. And I had April staying outside selling food the whole time for 8 hours outside.
Killing it, too.
I felt bad.
Killing.
Everyone wanted to stand outside.
It was like, she kept coming in the truck, the woman, I'm like, get back outside, we gotta sell food. Like, I'm sorry, take my jacket, do whatever you gotta do. But it was an experience. I mean, the people out there were amazing. So welcoming. pretty much Alaska was shut down for 3 years. So you're in Alaska, you're not going anyplace. Yeah. So like these were big things for people. Like people came out in groves because like they haven't taken their kids on vacation. They haven't like gone and done anything. So like this is a big thing. 7 trucks in these small little towns. I mean, some towns had 3,500 people in the whole town.
Wow.
So like, this is like a big to do. So it was great. It was an amazing experience.
Awesome.
Would you go back?
100%.
Yeah.
And how did you end up forming your team?
Well, Kate was actually a friend of my wife. She met out in St. James. She applied for it and got it. But she's not a chef, and she thought my wife was the chef, so she called her. I never met Kate before. And my wife's like, talk to my husband. I got on the phone with her like 7:30 in the morning.
What made her apply?
She just wanted to do something. Like, she was a big Tyler Florence fan.
Okay.
And she just wanted to apply. And I guess 10 o'clock that morning, she was here with me, sitting at the table over there. We're discussing it. And she's like, we need one more person. I was like, I have April. She worked for me. And she's like a gypsy. She likes to go different places. She's always going away. So, like, she was sold on it. And by 1 o'clock, we were on an interview with Food Network that same day.
Awesome.
That's some good stuff, man.
Yeah.
Now, like, I know for a lot of chefs, cooking is very personal. So how was it coming up with the ideas with your team?
Pretty much, they kind of left the menu to me. I already had the concept. BFD was always my thing. Like my wife always said, if we moved out of town, we wanted to do something like dinerish, because that's what like a lot of the towns are missing outside of New York.
Right.
So breakfast for dinner, a big fucking deal. Like Food Network wouldn't let me use that, but that's what the whole thing was about it. So I kind of had the concept. I mean, I bounced some ideas off of them, and they kind of like, we kind of guided each other, but like the food was all me. Kate took care of all the prep and doing our social media, and April did all the sales and interacting with the customers outside.
Nice. And that was a huge way to reach out to like your customers out there, right? You
Yeah.
were able to jump on your phones and...
Yeah, it was great. I mean, April's been a waitress and a bartender for 10 years, so she's used to talking to people. So like I actually had to pop my head out the window a couple of times, like, April, stop talking so much and get to the next person. Because it was all about what sales came in for the day. It wasn't about how many friends you made, but like it was great because she's used to doing, having 40 people at a time that she's taking care of. So it worked out great.
Dude, speaking of that window, I was fucking peeing my pants after like the 3rd episode, watching you try and just slam that thing open.
Every time.
After the first episode, we were trying to get water running in the trucks because we were using hot water in buckets. I had to boil water in the stove because everything kept freezing. So the guy that ran the show, he decided to have me turn all the equipment on the truck, leave the exhaust fan off to hopefully thaw the pipes out. We shut the doors, we left. 15 minutes later, we came back in, and like the smoke detector on the ceiling was melted. Plastic shelves were melted, cutting boards like just buckled. And I was like, oh shit. And then like I was like, all right, we'll deal with it. We got to like the plate. I couldn't open the window because the window melted. So that was the problem, is like the window melted. Dude. And after it got cold, like it was such a pain in the ass to open. And they made me open that thing like 3 or 4 times every time to get the right shot. So it was a pain in the ass.
I was cracking, because you started cracking up.
I couldn't deal with it anymore because I also got the food truck they rented from somebody. So like they had to return this food truck to somebody. Like the window doesn't work. So
I was wondering what they do with these like trucks when they're done. Like how sick of that being like, hey, you guys, here's your food truck.
Well, from what I heard when they do it in the States, they actually have food trucks. Like they have their own food trucks that they use, but since we're in Alaska, they rented 7 food trucks from 7 different vendors up there.
And speaking of all these food trucks, your food truck, you lost a tire, you broke down.
I actually blew the engine. We were on our way to the first stop.
So it was your fault.
Yeah, that's what everybody told me.
Okay.
We were on a mountain pass, and all of a sudden I had no pressure. I had to pull over. Everything was just leaking out of the bottom of the food truck. The girls had to drive 50 miles back in the other direction to get cell phone service. So I was like stuck on a mountain, no cell phone service, nothing for like almost 3 hours.
Sounds like the North Shore.
Yeah.
And I remember you telling us the service mechanic, he showed up in shorts to fix your car in Alaska.
Yeah, well, they kept the mechanic, on this show, and he pretty much changed it. He found an engine on Facebook, went and drove 6 hours to pick it up, drove back. They trailed me around for that episode behind the truck just to get my truck where it was. And then the day off after the episode was over, he changed the engine in a parking lot with a pickup truck full of tools. It was like the craziest thing I've ever seen in my life. It was 4 degrees outside, and the guy's laying on the ground in a pair of shorts.
Some OG stuff right there.
Yeah.
4 degrees.
4 degrees.
Once it goes under 40, I'm a hat and scarf guy.
Dude. Definitely.
If I'm not getting paid to go out there, I'm probably not going out there. So,
but how was it on the Food Network.
I mean, it was a great experience. I mean, it was a lot to see, like how much got cut out of the show, how much taping we did, and how much little it was on the show. But I mean, it was a great experience. I mean, the people, the things we got to see, the things we got to do. I mean, they didn't show on the show. We went dog sledding as a team. For the last episode, they didn't show that they ran out of time. We went salmon fishing.
How incredible were those?
Well, we saw that though.
The salmon fishing
the
they
salmon
showed,
fishing.
which was amazing.
Yeah.
When we actually left the harbor, because we were in Homer, Alaska,
Yep.
a couple of guys from the Deadliest Catch actually live in Homer.
Okay.
So like the Time Bandit ship, I'm not sure if you ever watched the show, and a couple other ones were actually in the marina right there because they were
Damn.
fishing.
Wow.
So it's pretty cool to see these things going out when you're...
What's like the salmon capital of the world, right?
I believe so, yeah.
I'm pretty sure
Yeah.
that's what they said
Yeah.
on the show. Yeah, that and king crabs.
King crabs are great.
Yeah.
We pretty much had probably once or twice a week we got king crab for dinner. You know, we went out and
Yeah, you guys probably ate.
what I found out was I was talking to one of the guys at a restaurant and one of the chefs, and Alaska actually holds back 10% of the king crab just for Alaska. So they pick like the biggest
Wow.
and best crabs, and those don't get exported. So I mean, I was getting king crab legs that were, you know, an
First
inch and
pick.
a half, 2
First
inches
pick
in
king crab.
diameter.
Yeah, just
They
mooses.
were crazy. I mean, it was so good. All the food was good out there. We went to restaurants.
And what was the
So-
dog sledding like?
The dog sledding was amazing. It probably was like a 3-mile thing, 8 dogs. It was intense. The 2 girls were in the basket in the front. That's how we actually, for that last episode, when I cooked that locker with the elk meat on top,
Yeah.
I had to go around to 4 different spots. They had burlap bags, and I had to take one thing out of each bag. That's how I made the dish. You know, I wish they showed that on TV because it was really cool
Yeah,
because there was
yeah.
like some weird stuff in the bags. But it was amazing. I mean, dog sledding, I want to do so bad again.
I hunt with dogs sometimes. It's just a totally different experience working alongside an animal and like being productive
Yeah,
in that
I mean,
kind
it
of
was-
way. It's,
these things are and they live outside all year long.
yeah.
So they have like little dog huts, but they're outside in this weather and they just sleep outside.
Sounds like Obi.
Your dog belongs in Alaska.
He does belong in Alaska.
Have you seen pictures of his
No,
dog?
no.
What is he, a white
He's
shepherd?
a white shepherd husky
Okay.
mix, dude. He's an animal running around.
Sounds like a big dog though. Too.
Yeah, he's like 125 pounds.
Yeah, I got a Dane Lab mix at home. He's 150.
Oh my god.
So, but he's like a big, like stuffy animal.
Yeah,
Like,
yeah,
he just-
exactly.
He's, he's 125 pounds?
Yeah, he's
I was talking to
he's
somebody,
a thick boy.
I was talking to somebody the other day. I was like, "Yeah, my buddy's got a dog. He's 200 pounds." I'm just lying to people.
200, Obi's on a diet, bro.
I don't know.
200 pounds.
He
Get
better be
outta
if he's
here.
200 pounds. I mean, seriously.
200 pounds.
Oh boy, that's the first time actually on the show. First time I saw a frozen egg. I think
Yeah?
somebody's egg froze.
Oh yeah, yeah. I don't think that was mine, but somebody's egg froze. Yeah. I mean, everything would just freeze instantly. It was that cold.
How was the fishing though? The fishing was cool.
Fishing was great. I mean, we were
You
only
guys
out for
kept-
about an hour and a half.
You kept catching all those little fucking
The little
halibut
fish, yeah.
thing,
But I
man.
mean, it was just great being out in the water. Like it was, it was. You know, I'm a water guy here. I spent a lot of time in Montauk in the summer. You know, whereas me and my daughter go scuba diving, and it was just being nice to be out in the water, like seeing different things. It was great.
Yeah, I'm not much of a water guy, but I went. We did a cruise last year, and I got in a submarine. Let me tell you, that was an experience, man. We went down like 100 kilometers, and I would do that again for sure.
I'd have a
pretty
panic
cool.
attack.
I see. I thought so.
How
but
big was the thing,
The
though?
submarine was actually so. I was like jelly legs the whole walk onto this thing, and I got like down the hatch. It was pretty fucking big. I was like, I could fit. I could stand in here. Just as long as I could stand straight up, I think I'm all right.
How many people were in it?
It was like 40 of us, so it actually made me feel a little bit more comfortable. That just wasn't me and my buddy. If it was like if everyone, I'm like, they've probably done this a couple times here before. So
Your
we're
ears
all right.
popping the whole way down.
Just right when we got under the water just a little bit, and then we were good. That was some crazy. That's my water story.
Did you come across like any animals unexpected?
Oh yeah, the first day, the first end of the first episode when they were doing the voting off, when that one person went home, I forget who it was. The Oink Mobile, the truck went on fire. Mm-hmm. But probably about 50 to 60 feet away, there was a moose. You didn't think an actual moose. Like you didn't think like mooses don't look that big, like when you see them in a picture. But these fucking things are huge.
And they're very territorial, right?
Yes, and they were very nasty from what I heard. Huge antlers, but I mean, the legs were probably up to my chest, each of them.
Wow.
And this thing kept like walking around, and like we were like starting to like walk away, and I had to stop filming because like they didn't know what it was going to do. We saw a couple. We saw one bear, a bunch of like coyotes, but that's pretty much it.
I've been watching
Animal-wise.
Yellowstone,
Oh, have you? Okay.
so like seeing the Grizzlies and the Coyotes and the Wolves.
Yeah.
I still haven't given that a chance yet.
I just started this weekend. Great show.
You started when you were on vacation?
Yeah, I was up one night just watching. I go on vacation and binge movies.
Yeah, I think we all do. Bring out a little fire stick and just go with it.
So I'm happy we're on the moose topic here. How was that moose meat?
The moose meat was really good.
Yeah?
Like really good. Really lean. A lot of flavor. Like really rich color. It was great. It was really good.
When are we going hunting for mooses?
We got to go to Maine for that. And I'm pretty sure the closest spot's got to be Maine, and I think you need a.
I actually had a customer. You actually, I think, have to live there to get the moose permit.
Oh,
it's
wow.
like a lottery. He actually, one of my customers brought in some moose. He got a moose a couple of years ago, but yeah, it's like a lottery you win, and I think they only give out like 75 or 100 tickets a year.
Suggs, get us that ticket, bud.
No, let me tell you. Suggs, I went to visit Suggs a couple weeks ago, and we're in Maine. We went to Acadia National Park, and the only thing I wanted to do was see a fucking moose. That's what I'm in Maine for. And he's, Suggs, he's just like, it's like, he's from Maine. He's been there long enough. He's like, it's 1 in a million, dude. Like, it's like hitting the lottery. You're never going to find the moose. I was head on a swivel the whole time that we were doing this nature walk. But he's been there like a little over a year and hasn't seen one. So.
Well, it's like when this kid invited me to see him come play baseball in Australia, and the first 2 kangaroo I see are roadkill.
You're right.
I mean,
they really were.
I've seen
First
some
2 I
pictures
saw
of
were
kangaroos. They look pretty muscular. I wouldn't want to hit one of those.
No,
things.
they're huge, but they actually have the signs instead of like the deer crossing signs. It's literally a kangaroo crossing sign. But those kangaroos that we saw were not nice kangaroos.
Oh yeah, well we
Like,
went to this. There was this park on Phillip Island, and you walk through, and you got a handful of food for the kangaroos and wallabies, and you walk around, and we were feeding a couple past the koala cage. The wallabies are all nice; they're like picking it out of your hand. All of a sudden, we turn left,
Open this gate.
and there is hundreds of kangaroos, and like the big ones with the chests like this,
yeah.
and they just start hopping over.
And he just
I gave my excuse me all his food. I gave my bag to him. I'm like, I'm out. I'm not feeding anymore.
Thanks for joining us at the Oven Podcast. Let's take a look at the first course.
Thank you. What do we got here?
So those are loaded potato skins. So I make some baked potatoes, scoop them out, deep fry them. I have some maple smoked bacon that I use, and then some Monterey Jack cheese. Just simple. I always think I used to love my potato skins when I went to Bennigan's back in the day. Just something
Bennigan's.
simple and easy. And I have the sour cream, some scallions, and you have an amazing sauce to put on top.
Yep. So for us, it's easy. Over at New York Pot Butter, or for NYPB for short, we infuse basically anything that we want to eat. So to infuse this meal, we just infuse our sauce. Right now, we have our infused honey barbecue sauce. We do everything from ketchup, mustard, honey mustard, whatever it may be, just to make it easier to infuse any meal that you want to eat. So today, like I said, we got the barbecue sauce. Usually comes in 100 milligrams. We'll probably have right around 5 milligrams per squirt on here. Like that word, squirt?
Per squirt?
That's correct.
That's it.
So do you make the barbecue sauce, or do you buy a barbecue sauce and then just infuse it?
So we buy a barbecue sauce. I break it down, heat it up, and we infuse with either one of our oils, butters. Mario's looking to get after it right now.
Yeah, really.
So for those
How many
of you-
milligrams is that squirt?
So we're probably right around like 5 or 10. But so for those who don't know, Nino doesn't really smoke too much.
Really?
So
Not a big smoker.
this is gonna be. He has been indulging in the honey and a nice little cup of tea at the end of the night. But
Okay.
so this is gonna be interesting. It's gonna be an interesting to see the nightcap here.
Very good.
These look amazing.
I like the sauce.
You know the sauce?
So yes, just takes me back to Bennigan's. It's something like stupid and simple, but like, who doesn't want a loaded skin with potatoes? It's
a classic.
Cheddar and bacon. I mean,
Dude, that's like crispy on the outside, like nice and melty on the inside. Man, this is fantastic.
yeah, you really got to cook the skin. Like it almost looks burnt when you take it out, but you need something crispy because you're putting in like so much soft cheese. It's so much milk and liquid in it,
Yeah.
like it's gonna make it a little soggy.
I thought you were taking pictures of your meal again.
Have you ever thought about writing a cookbook?
Yes and no. I'm not a very good writer, but thank God my wife is. That's what she went to school for in Syracuse, creative writing.
Yeah.
Film.
Oh wow.
I would rather do the book that we want to do is like stories in the restaurant business. You know, we've been in the business, me and my wife together now for almost 21 years.
Stories like what? Like personal stories? Like
Personal stories like weird customers or like weird staff situations. I mean, I had a lady that was in. This is all. We have a binder at home that my wife used to write stuff in from Morrison's. We used to have redfish there, was upscale seafood before Morrison's, and this woman used to come in almost every week. She was probably like close to 60. She'd sit at one of the bar booths in a short skirt with no underwear on all the time, and leave her legs open. It was the weirdest fucking thing, and like every week she'd do the same thing. And that's like something in the book, or just some like kind of weird stories, like because there's a bunch of weird fucking people out there.
was she cute?
No,
heard
as I said, she was 60 and not attractive at all.
She heard it was fish night. She was.
It was like every week that was fish night for her. But I mean,
What was it
there's been some good stories. I mean, so that's what she wants to write. Shelby wants to write just like a story of like all the fucked up shit that goes on in the restaurant business.
I'm sure the way that she would put it too
Yeah,
would absolutely bury it.
yeah, definitely wouldn't be a kid-friendly book. No,
Some guy sitting in the bar. Yeah, I'll have the clam on her over there.
But you know, how many times can everybody's grandmother die? You know, that's always the first excuse why they can't work. Or, you know, I got stuck on a boat somewhere. Like, it was just like the stories that come out sometimes are just like,
Oh, like the
seriously,
calling
just-
out stories?
Oh yeah. I mean, but just everything. It's just there's so many things going on, and it happens a lot of different places. But it's pretty extreme sometimes.
I used to be an office manager, so I know all about excuses.
Yeah.
I've seen some crazy stuff.
I'm trying to think of like the best excuse I've ever used to call out of work.
I'm a bad liar. I'm a lot of things. I'm not a liar.
I usually don't.
No,
I usually
just
don't.
use to fess up, and that's the worst case scenario.
I usually don't even give an excuse. It's usually just like, hey, I'm not making it in. But I feel like back in the day,
No, you had to
with
give
the
an
county,
excuse
I
back in the
definitely
day.
gave an excuse when I was younger. I didn't want to be there to begin with, so God. This makes me think of like the was Mr. Deeds, where he does the.
It's a great movie.
I got strip throat.
You're good at that.
That's good. That was like after a brunch one time. I didn't want to call out, so I went in and I clocked in and clocked out 33 minutes later. I said I wasn't feeling good. I was just after a Sunday fun day. Wasn't working out.
Sunday fun days. No, live after 5. It was what used to kill me. Those Thursday night, man, into Friday morning. It's like every other Friday morning. My boss is like, "You got bad clams again?" I'm like, "Dude, I'm sorry." Like, those nights just don't end.
He had bad cloning.
I guess that might be one of the worst excuses I used to use. Yeah, bad seafood.
Well, I mean, food poisoning, that's a good one.
Yeah.
You can't prove it. You don't have to get any
And yeah,
medicine. Doctors know nothing. You just got to work through your system.
I missed Vegas because of food poisoning.
Yeah, you did.
Had a bad case of food poisoning.
Honestly, it's probably a good thing he didn't come to Vegas.
Yeah.
So
We'll save that story for another time. We
I've been to
are
Vegas
not
a
eating.
year. I went for Vegas for my 21st birthday, and I've been back since.
Really?
I was the last one of my friends to turn 21, so we went for 5 days. And I don't even remember what my hotel room looked like. I mean, I don't think we slept. I mean, it was bad.
we actually got a house.
Okay.
I don't know why. We thought the house was a good idea because it had a pool in the backyard.
We were like broke at that point at 21, so we like just packed in 2 rooms at like the Excalibur for like $100 a night, and like literally just went out and just spent all of our money on alcohol.
That's
like,
some
it
wanton
was so
shit.
much fun.
That's some wanton
Yeah.
shit right there. I love it.
So I want to talk about the show again because I have one question that I wanted to pick your mind about. When those 2 teams, I forget exactly which 2 teams, formed the alliance against you, and then they
yes.
still lost
3
that
teams.
round.
3 teams.
Oh, 3 teams. I was,
And they were the bottom 3.
I was
Yeah.
so happy when you beat them
Oh
still.
man.
Yeah, it was funny. I mean, we found out like we got back to the hotel that night because that's when the truck blew up. When I lost the truck on the mountain, that was on the way to that episode. So we got to the hotel and checked in, and all these hotels in Alaska, it's summer seasons, their busy season. So a lot of these hotels were closed. It was just the 60 people, cast and crew were taking over these hotels, and all 3 teams were all sitting together having dinner. So like we sat at our own table.
You knew something was up.
Yeah, I didn't really care. I'm from New York. Like, who gives a
Yeah,
shit?
you
Like, I'm
don't
not
need
worried
that.
about this shit. And we actually sat there and had king crab legs. We got hammered. We had like 4 bottles of wine. Me and April had a bright idea of going to do a polar plunge at 1 o'clock in the morning in Alaska.
You have enough? Like
No, we at this point we thought we were gonna go home because they said in the beginning of the show, like, if things break, it's up to producers' discretion. I mean, the engine was $3,000 that they bought. a used
Oh, you're saying
engine.
the truck might have sent
The
you
truck might have sent me home.
That would be so
And
ridiculous, though.
the tow, to have me towed, because they towed the truck 218 miles. It was $4,200 to tow the truck. So, like, I thought when I got to the hotel, like, I was done. They were going to tell me, you know, like, it's over. Sorry, we're not fixing the truck. So we decided to get hammered. And then one of the other guys says, oh, let's go for a polo plunge. So it was pitch black outside. I had a bathing suit, and we decided to go in the water, and it was fucking cold.
sure it
Really,
wasn't
really
warm.
fucking cold. And then the next morning we woke up, and we're looking at the water outside. We went in. First off, I don't know how we didn't hurt ourselves. It was like boulders and rocks, because it wasn't sandy beach. And then were like sea otters. And like there was a killer whale like swimming out, like an orca whale swimming out in the back. And I was like, we went fucking swimming in here
No,
last night?
if I did that-
In the pitch black. Like, I'm like, we could have been fucking dead.
That's the only way I'm
Yeah.
swimming in that water is in the pitch black.
Yeah.
No shot.
And without knowing, if I know about that, I'm not going anywhere near that water.
It worked out well though. We got out of the water and I was bone sober. Like I was ready to go. So,
Shocked your
but
body?
it was fun. I mean, I did a polar plunge in Alaska. It was a great time.
No, that's great.
Could have
man.
been.
So yeah, they decided they wanted to plan, I guess, something we didn't know. So you know, that was our biggest thing. Was like we wanted to. I have a local business, privately owned business. So I wanted to find privately owned restaurants in Alaska or privately owned businesses because I don't need to park at a Walgreens or someplace that makes money. So we found this great guy. I forget the name
Noticed
of the
that
place.
where you guys would park up.
Yeah, I forget the name of the restaurant. The guy was great. Alice's something, I think it was. So we decided to park our truck there, and everybody parked another lot. There was 3 trucks, and April and Kate were like, "Should we go park with them?" I'm like, "Why?" Because like it was a small town again, 4,000 people.
Yeah, you guys were way
so
up
like
north
they were,
already.
but like way up. We were like a mile and a half away from each other, so it wasn't like people had to like drive. But I said like make them come here because it's only our sale. You know, they go over there. I mean, you know, things are expensive on food trucks. You know, money is hard to come by some days. You know, and everything else. So there was 3 trucks in that lot. So I figured if we had a 4th truck, I'd be sharing my customer with 3 other trucks. So we decided just do our own. You know, Kate was really worried about them teaming up. Like, let's just keep our head in the game. We won the first 2 episodes. Not by like a landslide. I mean, we crushed sales. I mean, I've been in the
crushed
business for a
sales.
long time, and everything was based on food cost and what money I was going to bring on the truck. So like, I had no extra product. I knew exactly what I wanted to sell and how much I could bring in. So I was like, just keep our heads down and go. And the first day we opened, I had in a line for 8 hours, 8 hours, nonstop, and some of that was in the rain, and people stayed and.
That's gotta feel so awesome, man.
It was great, and like everything was rolling. Like there was nobody was waiting for food. There was no mistakes. It was just rolling. And the second day we had a line for the last 4 hours, and but you know then comes the vote off episode, and we're standing there along with the 5 teams left, and it's like then you really start thinking about it. It's like Survivor. I'm like, why is that guy scared? You're scared at the end when it comes to because it's like time to go home, and then you start talking about the alliance, and then we won. I mean,
Yeah, 3rd in a row.
3rd in a row. I mean, the closest team to me was about $1,200 away in sales before, because that one team, I think it was Meatball Mamas, they might have won like the food challenge where they got like another $500.
Some of those challenges.
But still, I mean, I outsold food.
Yeah.
You know, from the second place person, $1,200, and the last place person, I sold like $3,000 worth more of food.
Wow.
So like that's what we were geared for. I mean, I've always been putting out food quickly, good food, and you know everybody's happy, and that's what was down. And we just wanted to stay in our lane and not worry about everybody else. Because if you start worrying about everybody else, the paranoia is just going to like destroy you. You have to worry. You can't think about everybody else. Just do your thing, and if it's meant to be, it's meant to be.
Yeah, I remember you saying something like, you know, it's okay that they're aligned. Like, you
Yeah,
know,
like we didn't come there to make friends.
Exactly.
You know, I brought my 2 friends out with me. You know, Metro Chili, the guys from Staten Island. We wound up hooking up with them after the first episode. Because, you know, the first episode, nobody wanted to talk to each other.
Yeah.
You know, everybody got there and they threw us right in the show. But then we started talking and they're from New York, you know.
Yeah,
it was
Staten
great.
Island guys, yeah.
Staten Island guys. I mean, I still talk to 2 of them. They're great guys. But that was the whole thing. Is like we went there just to win and show what we can do. So, you know, everybody was worried about like hanging out with the other, you know, like that wasn't, I was with the 2 girls that I went out with. We had dinner every single night together. We never fought once. We never, that was the other great thing is whatever choices we made, like we made the choices together. So like it wasn't at the end like, oh, you should have listened to me and did this. Like we took a poll, like should we move, should we not? What should we sell? What shouldn't we sell? So that was the best thing is like watching every episode when I was at home with my kids. Like I didn't have to worry about, you know, being in the restaurant business, yeah. You can ask some of the people I work with. Sometimes I lose my temper, you know, like this is my livelihood. And, you know, like I put it like, if my parents aren't going to eat the dish I'm putting out, then don't put it out. Like remake the dish. Like act like it's your family. So, yeah, and that's what we did.
I like that.
Yeah. But like, you know, watching the episode, like I didn't have to worry about like, oh, this is where I lost my temper, this is where I yelled, or this is where we had a problem. Like it was none of that.
Yeah,
like whatever problems there were, we just fixed and went with. It was great. It was great.
So you guys had a lot of downtime.
We had a decent amount of downtime.
Well, first of all, how long were you there for?
I was there for 39 days. 39 days, no wife, no kids. It was
a vacation.
Fantastic. Beautiful. Yeah, I mean, it was great. I mean, the last week we went into like COVID lockdown because somebody on the crew got COVID. So they actually locked us down at this beautiful hotel in Talkeetna, Alaska. There was, I think, 30 people left in total.
That was the fifth episode?
The fifth episode, the last one before the final. It was like at a hotel like from The Shining, like that big hotel in Colorado. And it was beautiful. And every night I got to watch Northern Lights.
I was going to ask you about that.
The Northern Lights were ridiculous.
That was
Talkeetna.
That's Aurora Borealis, is that what they
Yes,
call
and
it?
it is absolutely ridiculous. I didn't realize they actually change. Like I thought, like how it is, but it's gases. So like every minute's like moving and changing. But it was unreal. It was just, I couldn't even believe
Incredible.
it. Yeah.
I got to cross it off my bucket list, man. I got to smoke a nice fat joint underneath.
That's what we did every night, sitting on the back of the deck, getting high and watching.
And Food Network is like cool with that. They're like you can.
Well, it was a legal state, so it made it a lot easier. If we were in a non-legal state, it would have been a problem. But there was 3 days we taped, then we had a travel day, then we had a day off. So when the show stopped taping for the day,
Free for all.
it was a free for all. I could do whatever I wanted. I wasn't technically allowed to leave the hotel because it was during COVID. You know, we snuck out a couple times to get some food because I didn't want to eat hotel food. But my days were my days. So I could do what I wanted to do.
That's pretty cool.
And you said that, tell us the story about when you went to go pick up your first couple.
Oh, so the first time I went to a dispensary, you know, being in New York and going to California and Washington, you know, it's huge taxes, 25% tax. So I went in, it was a Tuesday, and I'm talking to the guy, and it was weird because all dispensaries open till midnight, which I thought was like really late in some shady areas, but that's what they did. And the guy told me he had 2 joints, half grams for $5. That's Tuesday special, like statewide. So I bought 4 tubes, 8 joints. I was like, oh, this is enough to get me started, you know, maybe through a day or two. And I went to pay, and he's like, $20. And I'm like, but what about the tax? He's like, there's no tax. I was like, I'll take 4 more tubes.
Just keep them coming.
Then I was like, I called my wife, and I'm like, what do you want? I'm like, there's no tax. And I just started shipping shit home. It was the best. FedEx is the best.
And so I actually watched the first couple of episodes with my little sister, and I was explaining to her what we were doing on the oven, and she was like, he seems very quiet, like during your interview. So what happened there? Why were you so quiet
usually after the team gets voted off, you go into a room and you do like a where you dump everything. You just sit in front of the camera, the interview. So the first week we didn't do it because they ran out of time. So they said, oh, we'll do it the second week. So I didn't think anything of it. We won the second episode, and we were like really excited. Me and Kate doesn't smoke, so me and April decided to smoke a joint, and we smoked a big fat fucking joint because we were totally stoked, 2 in a row. And then they said it's time for interviews. And I was sitting at a table, sitting like this. They were on both sides of me, and I just stared at the camera. And the first episode that we had to do, it was 2 episodes we had to do. We had to do our intro for our story for our team, and then the first episode and the second episode. And I was like, just like staring. I didn't know what to do. First interview. So the first 2 shows, like that was the same interview, and you had to talk in past tense. So it was like you have to talk like it was happening, even though it was like 4 days ago. And I couldn't get that through my mind. I was like, yeah, we were cooking. And she's like, no, you were cooking today. And I was like, this is terrible. Like, it literally took me like 6 hours. And my producer, because we had a producer, an audio guy, and a film guy, and a runner, that was our pod. So it was 7 of us. And she said to me, she pulled me aside after. She said, what's wrong? She's like, I've been on the truck with you for 6 days. You're so talkative. I'm like, well, I got high. And she's like, why would you do that? I'm like, I don't know. I was off of work. And she's like, you can't do that. I'm like, I definitely will never do that again. So every episode after that, I made sure I didn't get high. And that was funny because the whole team, did you go get high? I'm like, no, didn't get high this time. So it was like really weird. I had to keep taking breaks, take water breaks. Like me and April were, she was fucked up and she got through it a little bit better than me. But I just couldn't. I just kept staring at the camera. Like, he's like, wake up, look, like blink, do something. I'm like, I can't. Like, it's like, can we pick another day? So
literally how me and Franco would be. He'd be okay, and I'd be.
Oh, dude.
it was funny because they take little bits from every interview and they might put it in different episodes down the show. So my wife said to me, like the last episode, she goes, "You look a little weird." I'm like, "That was from the first episode." Like, that was when I was fucked up. Like,
I
so
wasn't low.
yeah.
Man, that actually happened to me one time. We were playing, I was playing summer ball in Haymarket, Virginia, and me and two of my buddies decided it was, we were pitchers, so it was like practice was go run poles, especially if you're not throwing a bullpen. So you could smoke and go run some poles and you'd be fine. So it was like third practice in, we had no idea that we were taking our biopics. So like these pictures get, everyone gets 3 pictures with all 3 uniforms. The sun is like blaring behind us, man. If I had these like photos to show you, it is so bad. And they go on every time I pitch, like
That was the picture they put up.
the pamphlet would go out, like the program would go out, and like my face would just be right there. And I am in the clouds in these pictures. Like we all looked at my buddy Pete is so much worse than I am. Like you look at him and he's an absolute dead giveaway. But I was like, dude, this is the worst thing. And we would pull up remember my little Honda? So like,
What, your carbon fiber hood?
Yeah, my car. I was a racer.
That was the sticker, right?
I had this little coupe. I had this little Honda Accord coupe, and you could bake this thing out by yourself.
I had a little Civic back in the day.
Yes.
You're tuned in to the Oven Podcast. Next, we have our main course.
But what do we have here?
Yeah, let's dig in here.
So this was the big thing on the food truck. It's a glazed donut, burger, American cheese. So it's pretty much a bacon, egg, and cheese on a donut with some ground beef because I needed to get like some kind of protein to make it an entree. So we sold a ton of these. I sold out every episode that I did this. As I said, I bought enough, how many donuts I can get because there wasn't always a ton of glazed donuts. I bought enough ground beef just to cover the donuts. So I did 1/4 pound burgers, so 1 pound made 4 donuts. So that's how I did it. So if I got a dozen donuts, I had enough for 3 pounds of meat. And that's why I made sure I had. So when I 86'd the donut, like there was no bacon left. There was no, I put 2 slices, so I counted out the package of bacon.
Gotcha.
Because it's all about food costs. It's all about making money and staying in
yeah.
business. And that's how you have to stay in business. Your numbers have to be right.
I don't think there was one time in the show that you guys even spent all your.
No, I always wanted to save something because like I felt like, maybe that extra $40 I didn't send might push me over the top, like that extra savings. And plus, you also need to start with a bank because you had to make change for people. Yeah. So like you weren't allowed to add any of your own money.
I didn't think about that.
So like, some people couldn't make a sale or couldn't give change. So like it could hinder that. So like I wanted to make sure. So when we left, Kate always got singles and 5s, or maybe it was April, from the supermarket that we were at so she could start with change. Right. Because you weren't allowed to take any money out of your pocket.
Wow.
So, yeah.
The little things like that we don't know just watching.
I didn't even think about that. Let's dig into this.
So what kind of sauce you got here?
Oh, right. So, again, like I said, we do all the sauces, condiments, and we again, sorry.
Can you take these off for me next time?
I didn't think about it. It's the first time.
So this is infused ketchup.
Yeah, so this is gonna be the infused ketchup. We the first on the appetizer we use the infused barbecue sauce, infused ketchup. This go.
So my biggest question: did you use Heinz ketchup?
Of course.
Okay, so I had to make sure.
That's the only one you use?
Only.
No Hunts?
No. You can. And I hate when I go to a restaurant because Hunt's is a little paler, and almost like chunkier.
You can always taste it too.
The same thing as with mayonnaise. Not that I love mayonnaise, but it has to be Hellmann's. Like there's certain things you can't skimp on, and that's like 2 of the things. It's like a staple.
I guess you're right, man. I'm not a big mayonnaise guy either.
Mayonnaise I'll put on a roast beef sandwich or something, but I don't want Miracle Whip or some other crap. I want Hellmann's.
Yo, this. I haven't even tasted this yet. And
I'll talk to you guys when I'm done with this. This is very good.
So I gotta
I feel
say,
like we need a shot of that.
I ran this for 5 episodes in Alaska. I probably made 200 of these burgers. I never had one.
This is your first time?
I had this. Never ever made it for
Wow.
myself. And it's fucking good.
Honored to be here for your first experience.
I'm a mess. Yeah, I'm sorry that you say this for us. BFD burger, first timer.
Congrats.
No, this is crazy.
It's really
dude.
good. I'm like,
this
It was amazing.
This is really good.
It was amazing.
So we've been doing a lot of work in the Bronx and Brooklyn, and not for nothing, man, they got some like the best chopped cheeses ever, like in those like little bodegas.
What's a chopped cheese?
Like a cheesesteak.
Yeah, it's like
type of thing.
but like it's like a burger chopped up. It's
Yeah.
I don't. If I knew how to make it, I'd make it every day. This, 10 times better.
There's some good food around, man. Like especially towns like that, you got a lot of different people in those neighborhoods. Like there's like we see a food truck or we see something, different when we're on vacation. We always stop because it's just a meal.
Right.
Like if you don't finish it, if it's a bad meal, like we don't get pissed when there's a bad meal. I never send food back.
No,
it's
never.
just a meal.
I never
You
send
get
food back.
At least 3 of them a day. Sometimes when me and my wife go away, it's 5 or 6. We've gone away before and we don't have a hotel reservation, but I have reservations at 3 nights for dinner because I wanted to go places. So like, what's the point of complaining? They're trying. It's not their fault. Like, it's a meal. Like, enjoy it. We had a great time. If I don't eat it all, I don't eat it all.
Right.
But like, what's the point of complaining? It's not like, okay, great, we won't go back. Or, it wasn't as good as I thought it was going to be. But
I'm not a big Yelper, but
I can't
I
do
never
that.
leave a bad review. I'll only leave a review if I really like a place.
Yelp,
Yeah.
good thing you brought Yelp. I think is horrible, truthfully, just because like anybody could write a review. They think they're a food critic, so they read the Times or Newsday when it's Giannotti, and they think they're a food critic. Like they have to realize that like we're small restaurants. They're not reviewing Cheesecake Factory and the Olive Garden. People that can take hits.
Fuck the Olive Garden.
Like we're privately owned restaurant. I employ 30 people here, and every single one of them every day. Is there going to be a bad dish that goes out? Yeah. When you're doing 300 meals a day, you cannot put out 300 perfect meals.
Right.
We have. I mean, Nick's sitting over there behind the camera. He's worked with me for 5 years now, and we've had nights that we've had 300 meals go out of the kitchen, not one thing has come back. But you got to put in perspective. If I had 3 dishes come back that night, I would still 99%
Right.
Yeah.
of food quality.
Exactly.
So, but yeah, Yelp, it's just what they write, how they describe things about, like they'll talk about like the server was slumpy or they were bigger, or, what I'm saying? Like, it's just why? Like, why
Right.
hurt somebody else? Just say,
Yeah.
something, I had the burger, it really wasn't great, but like, why go in, like, why hurt somebody?
Right.
And like, why try to like hurt somebody's business?
Yeah, take money.
You know what I'm saying? Just say, listen, it was a bad night. If you want to write something, but like to get detail and then like social media, it just gets to be a lot sometimes. And it's not like, say if they work at Macy's behind the counter, I can't go write a Yelp review about the lady that was behind Macy's when I was trying to buy something that's on her phone or not paying attention. Like it's only certain people who can get, like, why am I the only group that can get reviewed?
Right.
Like if Yelp wants to exist,
Yeah.
Yelp everybody. But like, so why? That's my problem. And then Yelp wants to come in, they want to, but I don't want to be on that platform because, people make reviews and they actually get like points.
Yeah.
So there's like elite Yelpers, that who,
Which is,
but
like,
they're
ridiculous.
Right.
not reviewers. So like,
Right.
what gives them the, or maybe they just have a bad day and they just want to write something nasty.
Nothing
That's
better
why
than
I'm
like
not
something
even-
stupid.
Yeah.
Imagine being like an elite Yelper. Like you dedicated all your time to like, yeah, I'm just gonna talk shit on this.
So if you have nothing better to do,
talk shit,
like-
but like
They don't get paid at all if you're
read
elite?
a, like read a
Just
book.
get points
No,
for like
they
meals?
points and maybe they get some meals. Like they'll have like an elite event type of thing in a restaurant where it's a happy hour. But no, they don't get anything for it.
And then you even have some competitors make Yelp accounts too, right? They can leave a review
I mean,
on
they
your
can.
thing.
I mean, I tell you the truth, Yelp I don't even look at. I look at my, excuse me, my Google reviews, my Open Table reviews. People that like are diners that like, and there's going to be some bad ones, and I know that. Like everything can't be perfect, but when there's a bad review, my wife responds. Like we want to make sure that we see it and we'll notice it and fix it because that's the only way we get better. Like if somebody said, this was bad, then I'll look at it and I'll figure out, how to fix the problem.
Well, Tyler did on one of the episodes. It might have been the 5th episode in Talkeetna, where he read like it was review cards, right? And read like reviews from every the bad reviews from every team, and like some of them were like, some of them were bad.
Some were bad. Some people were selling food and paying food, and they didn't have the food to give out to the people. So they'd give refunds.
Yeah, give them
I mean, the
refunds,
only
like-
thing I got was I ran out of food, but I ran out of food because I couldn't buy a ton
Yeah,
of
'cause
food.
yeah.
But I ran out of food knowing that, like, when I sold the last burger, there was no more being sold. So I never had to credit people. But, like, I didn't have a walk-in and endless supply of food. I can do here. I can not run out of food all night long.
It also seemed like those reviews, like if they could throw a bad review at you, was the only
Yeah,
way
I
that
think
they were
I
going to
think
get
a lot of
you.
that was like TV land.
Exactly.
100%, man.
So it was. Some people were charging a lot of money for things. That's what a couple of reviews came out, like the tot truck.
Yeah,
They were
yeah.
charging $20,
Overcharging.
and there was like 5 tots in a bowl.
For tots that they didn't even make.
Exactly. So like it's all. But I
even
think it
see
was
those
more about TV, like
Yeah.
getting something out there.
Yeah. Did you get that feel like with the Food Network? It was like, I mean, I kind of got the feel watching the show that some of it was, not to say staged, but like, they were leaning in the direction of other teams.
Well, we had iPad for sales, so it was Wi-Fi. Okay. So the producers sat back at the hotel, so they could see real time of what the sales were. So I feel like, I mean, I don't know for sure. Don't get me wrong, but I feel like they were able to start and stop. They could tell you when to stop selling, or they could say, "Oh, we're going to do a competition," and then I could have a line of 30 people outside, and I have to tell that line I can't serve you because I had to do like a cooking competition.
Yeah.
So I feel like a lot of that came in because I feel like some people got placed where they shouldn't have been. I know the Talkeeton episode, we had to get reviews from people on the truck, and it was great that I had April because, as I said, she was a waitress, so she made sure that every time she made a sale, they filled out a review card. And other trucks didn't, and we were supposed to win $300, for the best reviews. I 100% know that I had the most because April said she put in 70 of them in the bucket, and somebody else won. And I don't know how they won.
You already won the competition.
I already won the competition, but it could have changed things because
Tasty Balls.
They gave it to Tasty Balls.
Yeah.
If they didn't give it to Tasty Balls, Tasty Tots would have won to the finals with me. So I feel like they picked the competition for the final round. And I don't think they were filling out the thing because I feel like the other teams were always behind because, as I said, they weren't other than Tasty Balls, they weren't like restaurant people. The wheel's always spinning in the restaurant. It doesn't pause, it doesn't stop.
Right.
And April knew it. So I feel like everybody else didn't, and I feel like that was the way they got to pick who went to the finals.
That's crazy, man. So for me, you guys placed second, right? $50,000 prize.
That I lost by $5.
Yeah, $5.
$5
Get the fuck out of here. $5, dude.
Yeah, for anyone who didn't know, they placed second.
Second.
Coming in second, I mean, that's awesome. You guys were there for the whole trip. But for me, it's I've kind of, all day, I've been back and forth with this. I've been looking at it in the baseball standpoint and then just a competition standpoint. For me, it's total accumulated funds.
It was per episode. If that was the case, we would have won by episode 4.
You would have won episode 4.
But
that should have something to do with it.
Yeah, but that's not the way their competition is. It was individual.
In my mind, a consolation prize for, not to say a consolation prize, but, there should be the Great Food Truck Race All-Stars.
Well, they did that. So hopefully they did that the season after us.
But did you have to be a winner?
No, they picked 2 second-place teams.
Oh, I love that.
So I'm hoping that we do finally get a call back. I mean, it sucked to lose, trust me, by 5. But it also was a great learning lesson when I came home to my kids and explained to my kids, you can't always fucking win.
Yeah.
It hurts like hell, but I had 39 days of no regrets in Alaska. And I lost. And it, I was just as happy for the team that they won. But you can't win it all the time. You have to lose sometimes. There's always somebody better out there than you that might win every once in a while, and that's what it was. They made one more $5 sale than I did. That's what it came down to.
Well, they also won the
$400 and the thing. But you see, that was exactly.
It's these little challenges that what exactly is the competition for? Is it for sales or is it
sales to get more money? So if you won the challenge, and I mean, they had Tyler tasted a lot of times. The dishes. Yeah. So it is what it is. Listen, I have no regrets. I'm thrilled that I placed in second out of 7 teams. I mean, we were picked out of 300 teams across the country that I got picked. It's a once in a lifetime thing. But I feel the way it was, I'm a big Survivor fan. That's my reality show.
Survivor,
and there's no faking it. It's what it is. The producers can't change the show.
Right.
But they should have had a neutral person testing food that wasn't incorporated.
Yeah, didn't know you
know
guys.
What I'm saying? Exactly, or wanting to push people on, or they didn't announce who won. If we had one of the things, I don't remember what it was. One of the episodes we had to cook dishes. We didn't find out to the final when we were going to see who won that. So they waited for all the sales to come in, and they figured out. They they could have picked anybody.
Right.
But listen, as I said, I mean, it's just how it works. But they should have told us that day. Right. You won.
Yeah, this is how.
You know what I'm saying? So you had $400 going in your bank.
Right.
But you didn't know until the final. So
that's TV.
That's right. Mario knows. But in the last episode, I don't even want to say the chef's name who came in to rate your meals. He had nothing but good things to say about you guys. Went nuts, and then out of nowhere he's going back and forth. He's Tasty Balls. I'm looking at the TV. I'm like, how the fuck did that just happen?
That's what it is.
Who is this guy? I don't even want to say his name on the show. That's how upset I was about that. I'm looking at him you say all this, dry hump the hell out of my boy Harry, and then you give it to Tasty Balls.
That's how it
I'm
works
like,
sometimes.
I don't know. For me, I would have been punched in the air again. I don't know. It's just it is what it is. And that right there, like, is, you know, that $400 is obviously humongous.
Yeah.
When you lost by fucking 5. I know you probably
I mean,
hate
I
talking
never
about it,
won a food competition, which I don't care, but like everybody that did win, I still did more sales. Like the first 3 weeks, somebody won each different food competition, got free money, but I was still over those sales.
that was the best.
So
that was
like,
the
you know,
best part.
something fun, because I felt like they wanted to keep it a show, which
Right.
it's TV, like,
Right.
you know, like, so it is what it is. I'm thrilled that I got to do it. It was an
No,
experience,
100%.
and I love it, but.
Yeah, and like I'm watching the show, I'm trying not to be like one-sided because I know you. But
you are.
but like it's tough. But like at the same time, I'm just watching. I'm like, I don't know. I want to have a word with whoever was the producer of that show. Got a lot to say.
You're listening to the Oven Podcast. Now it's time for our final course, dessert.
All right, on to dessert. I could do the honors, man. Tell us what we got going on.
You told me you had a great caramel and chocolate sauce, so I was just trying to, you know, my wife always says ice cream, so I did a homemade vanilla churro ice cream. So I made some homemade churros, cooked them up, fried, I made them crunchy, rolled them in the sugar, and I made my ice cream. And then I actually had this is a wine chiller.
Okay.
I put in the freezer, because I don't actually have an ice cream machine here. So I put that in the freezer to get nice and cold, and then I made my ice cream, and I just stuck it in today, and let's see how it tastes.
Let's go for it.
First time I made it, so I tried to I don't know about anybody else, but I'm like a big Ben and Jerry's fan.
Thank you.
So like I'm a guy that likes like the big chunks.
Okay.
You want to be able to
Taste it.
like and know what it is. Like you
Yeah.
don't want to have to search around and be like, what is this?
I think I'm just a big ice cream guy.
Oh yeah, I mean any flavor,
This is
Like
the caramel.
there's like just always room for ice cream.
no matter what. I know I made it and all, but sorry,
It's pretty good.
it's really good.
I know you made it all, but this is fucking sick.
Maybe if I had this, I could get an extra $5 in the truck.
Yeah. $5.
$5.
So what do you got going on now?
So, you know, Weed River never got to, not profit off the show, but like really put it out there, because when the show did air, I was still at limited capacity. So I was only allowed to have 50 people in here. Everybody had to be out by 9 o'clock. We weren't allowed to do business after 9. And the biggest, I mean, I really don't care, like if it was a ticket, whatever, but the problem was is you were losing your liquor license.
Yeah, it's big.
And liquor license is what that's what really evens off your food cost and your labor cost is liquor. Because, I mean, you know what you pay for a bottle of Grey Goose at the store, $50, but
Yep.
I can make 10 drinks out of that bottle and charge you $15 a drink. So, like, the profit's really high on alcohol. So, I didn't want to take a chance. My wife made me, she didn't, so we did like a big party for the first show. And the other problem was they decided to air the show on Sunday nights at 10 o'clock. I mean,
Kids are sleeping.
anybody that has kids, like,
Yeah.
you're fucking shot by 10 o'clock after being with them. So she convinced me. We all went in the party room. I locked all the doors. I kept all the lights off in the main restaurant, and we just sat over there and had like a little party for the first episode. But like I kept looking over my shoulder, like I was all worried, like, you know, my business was already in the dumps, and I was worried that if I lost my liquor license, I was done.
Yeah.
So we only got to do one like party, because I wanted to open up to the restaurant. I mean, I've been in this building for 18 years. You know, I have a lot of regulars. I mean, they come in 2-3 times a week. I've seen their kids grow up from 2, and then I'm doing their rehearsal dinners because they get married.
Wow.
That's awesome.
So yeah, we're a neighborhood restaurant. It's like all food here. It's not like cutting edge. It's home cooked food that you just don't want to cook. It's comfort food, but you don't feel like making mac and cheese or making the burgers. You come here. I try to make it like I'd serve my family, like stuff that we want. It's not always pretty. I'm not worried about everything being perfect on the plate. It's about flavor and it's about having fun with your food. I like to make my portions big enough that people can share, because that's what I love to do. I love to like have a little bit of everything, because, you know, like, why we only have one dish? So that's what we try to do. So now we're actually transitioning. We always wanted to get some BFD into Jackson's.
I was going to ask about that.
And me and my wife are now actually fully taking over the restaurant. My in-laws, I've been doing this with my in-laws for 20 years, and they finally decided to retire, which is fantastic. Love my in-laws.
Congratulations.
Yeah, it's great, and it's so we're gonna like move forward in the direction that we want to. It was hard, you know. We had 4 people in the business that all wanted to have opinions. Not that we butted heads, but like, you know, it wasn't. So they were more in the old school, which is nothing wrong with that. And then we're different now. Like, things have evolved. You know, my father-in-law has been in the restaurant business 40 years. You know, and he'll be the first one to say this isn't like when he started in 1980. You know, like, it's all different. So we're going to be introducing more BFD onto the menu.
Hell yeah.
I definitely want to become a little bit more cannabis friendly. I don't know. I don't really think I can really cook with it too much as of right now because, you know, I also want to stay within the law. But I want to be able to make it like, you know, you get fucking baked and you want to just go out for some munchies.
Yeah.
You know, I have the big patio outside the parking lot. It's my own parking lot. Everybody else closed at night, so I want to make that like the smoking area for the summertime. And everybody, you know,
you
like
can smoke it. You can smoke it anywhere. You can smoke it.
You can, but I want to make it someplace where you can like sit and enjoy it because, like, for how many years we had to go in the back of the parking lot and go get high by our car.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? And I want to be someplace cannabis friendly where, you know, the kids can still have a spot inside with their families if they want to be. But we're outside, so that's the direction we're going. And that's what we're trying to do. We're just trying to keep with the trends and move with things that we want to move with. I mean, the big thing is Shelby came up, we're going to do like that White Castle suitcase.
Yeah.
But we're going to do like
Crave
a munchie box. Like a Crave munchie box type of thing where we have like 8 appetizers and you pick 4 and put it in. So all the same price. You know, whatever 4 you want to pick and it's X amount of dollars. You know, I want to gear to like, you know, I'm going to movies to get high. Like, come in, have munchies, or come in afterwards and just hang out. You don't have to buy full meals. Just come, like, I'd rather walk into a restaurant that the tables are full than walk into some place that was empty. Because you can walk in when it's empty. It's like, what are they doing wrong?
Right.
Yeah.
You know,
Yep.
like, come in. I don't care if you want to come in and 4 guys want to split 24 wings that cost $25 and have. It's like, it's all about the experience.
Mm-hmm.
You know, they're gonna come back the next time. Like, you know, those fucking wings are good. I want to come back, and that's what I want to be. I want to be like just the neighborhood,
The
local
spot.
place, the spot, but like be on the cutting edge of what we're trying to do, but not lose our roots of being comfort foods.
And those wings, man, are fucking good.
Thank you. I mean, we pride a lot. I mean, we sell close to 500 pounds of wings a week. I mean, I only buy fresh wings, and I only buy jumbo wings. I mean, there were times during COVID that like I couldn't get the wings I wanted. Like I just 86 them. You know, other places buy a smaller wing or a frozen wing or a pre-cooked wing. Why? Like the customers know. Like you come in. I mean, you were a customer before we decided to do this. You came in for football, beer and wings.
Beer and wings.
That was like your thing, and then you get like a sandwich afterwards or whatever you got.
The jambalaya.
But, like it was.
No, the jambalaya was
as soon
really
as you
good.
walked in, I was like, I'll take a beer or a vodka Coke, and I'll take 16 buffalo wings. Or,
Vanilla Coke,
You know what I'm
vanilla
saying?
Coke.
Yeah, vanilla Coke. But that's what like. I didn't want to like try to pass something off that wasn't mine. So like I pride myself. We bake our wings. They're made every day, and just like my French fries. I mean, we make French fries every day, first thing in the morning, and by the end of the night, we're just about running out. So the next day we start with a fresh batch of fries. Not that you can't use them the next day. Just try to keep everything as fresh.
Right.
Small batch, and I'd rather keep it raw, uncooked because it lasts longer. Because once I start cooking it, my days start ticking down, and every day, it just changes. So that's the direction we're trying to move in.
Hell yeah. Well, definitely keep us in the loop with, what you put on the menu. I mean, we're going to be back here.
Yeah, this is
Obviously,
great. I mean,
this is our home base, so.
Yeah, thank you for having us.
no,
Yeah,
this is great, man. I'm
this has been
thrilled to be
fantastic.
like the first one to do this with you guys. It was great to have an opening, and as we start going, I want to be able to serve these dishes to people.
Yeah.
And when we do, and I'm closed, and it's a closed environment, we can do the sauces.
Yeah.
It's not being charged. It's not going. It's just you want some sauce, here you go. And it's all about experiencing what other people and seeing what everybody else wants. What they enjoy. Or what, it's just food like brings everybody together.
Exactly. Food and smoking brings.
Yeah. Oh yeah.
Put the two of them together. That's a recipe right there. But again, man, thank you so much for having us. This has been so much fun. Anytime you guys are in Comac, anytime you guys are in Suffolk County, Long Island, wherever it may be in New York, come stop by. Jackson's. This is the
We do
spot to be.
off-premise. I do weddings, bar mitzvahs. We bring everything with the bar. I can't bring alcohol off, but we've done 300-person weddings at the Vanderbilt Planetarium outside. I bring the staff, everything,
I love a good planetarium.
and it's great. I mean, that's what we do.
Hell yeah.
And what's your Instagram?
My Instagram is Chef Poole, Poole. You can get that through Jackson's. Yeah.
And that's at Jackson's Comac. And that's pretty much
That's it.
And Via here, she's stepping in to help us video today. She wanted to ask us one more question before we signed off.
Okay.
Let's hear it.
Ready? If you were an edible, what would you be?
Fuck, that's a great question. What do we to start off?
I'm going to start. I'm going to throw mine out because I know what we were just talking about before. It's definitely a Starburst live resin.
Starburst.
It was,
You were talking about this.
tasted just like a Starburst, wrapped like a Starburst, 15 milligrams, and in 30 minutes, I was really happy.
Got my wheels turning with this one. What edible would I be if I could eat any edible?
I'm really curious now because like you're.
I want to be whatever edible the cute girls are eating.
Oh, man.
I think they're eating like the little dick gummies.
I got plenty of that.
Oh, God. What edible? We make this rainbow cookie donut that...
Wait, what?
Yeah, I'll bring you in some next time. This rainbow cookie donut is like... Let me tell you, one of the best edibles that we've had. Once we started making it at the bakery, I looked at the baker and I was like, my God, dude, this is it.
It's like a full-size donut?
Yeah, so like I said, we baked the donuts, and this is a full-size...
How many milligrams are those?
So everything's made to order.
Okay.
But we do,
What do you
we
usually do?
stick 100 milligrams across the board, which is nice and easy.
Nice.
Yeah, it's a little different.
I'll have a sliver today.
I'll take a half.
It'll last a little bit. That's a great first question.
Thank you.
Thank you,
Yeah,
Via.
good question.
Did you answer?
I did.
Girls gummies.
That was my answer. I don't know. My favorite edible. I love a little infused honey in my tea. That's my favorite.
There it is.
All right. Well, thanks for having me, guys. Really
Dude,
do appreciate
this
this.
was
Can't
great,
wait
man.
to be doing this on a weekly basis.
Thank
It's going to be
you.
a lot of fun.
Hell yeah.
Can't wait to see what guests you have coming up. And
Yeah.
great. Thank
Thank
you.
Can't wait to have everyone join us.
Yeah, it's going to be
during
nice.
this,
Be nice.
too. So.
I will see you next time.
We want to give a special thanks to Chef Harry Poole and Jackson's Restaurant for making this possible and for making such an incredible first meal of many. Make sure to subscribe to the YouTube page and check out all the people who made this possible. We hope to see you next time. There's always an open seat for you at the oven.